Hello and welcome to this Hangout on Connections episode 81. Hangout on Connections is a forum for relationship expression and healing. And today's episode is talking about women's empowerment with Dr.Alkina Finch. Before we introduce Dr. Alkina Finch, we are going to talk a little bit about the Connections Forum, which offers insights and healing conversations about relationship, personal expressions, and self-development. And we want to give you the tools and inspirations to handle the issues which comes up for anyone sooner or later. And you can watch past episodes on our replay site, hangoutonconnections.com. And I need to mention that we changed the name from Connections Forum to Hangout on Connections so that we would be in alignment with our website. So that's a little bit confusing for some people. So I am Margarita Crystal Lotus, helping stress professional women overcome stress and struggle and discover their purpose in life and business. As an intuitive mentor and healer, I love seeing my clients flourish when they experience transformational healing in their life. And you can learn more about that on my website, thecrystallotus.com. So now over to you, Heidi.
Yeah, hello and thank you. I'm Heidi Hörnlein, or Adelheid Hörnlein, and I am, let's say, an empowerment coach, a feminine power coach, and this goes very well into our topic of today. But I'm also a voice coach and a hangout host, as you see, and today I have invited my husband, with whom I do another hangout show, The Wisdom Factory, because he might have something to say about women's empowerment too.
Or even men's empowerment.
Yeah, we have women's here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we are living here in Italy, and we have a retreat, and we invite you to even a guest house to come by and see us in Italy when you are between Rome and Florence. And our common website is thepowerofrelationship.com. So far to us. And now I want to introduce Dr. Alkina. Hello, Dr. Alkina.
Well, hello. How are you?
I'm so fine, and I'm so happy that we came together after about 6 weeks, that we were communicating. Yeah, that we found an occasion to do that. And first I want to introduce yourself a little bit so that people know you better, because I saw you often appear in our shows and shows of other people, and I thought this is a person who is interested in these topics, and that's why I asked you to come. And now I discover that you are really a professional in these things. So now I read, okay? Dr. Alkina Finch is a university dean and professor. She is a lover of education, motivation, and social media. She holds a doctorate in management and 2 MBAs from Colorado Technical University, MSM, I don't know what all these things mean, by the way, in marketing from Strayer University, and a Bachelor of Science degree from the School of Engineering of Tennessee State University. She is currently pursuing the MSIS, another of these things, which I don't know, maybe you can explain it afterwards, in IT project management from Strayer University. Dr. Finch has co-authored 3 books and published several articles in the areas of business, education, and technology. She is currently the co-host of the Changing Minds online show, which includes the Empowering Women series. And that's exactly where we want to go, the empowerment of women. And before we started, I saw comments in our audience, why empowerment of women? Why don't we speak generally about empowerment? Just dive in like this, and then we will see where we go, okay?
Yes, yes. The reason for women's empowerment is, first off, that is the topic of our show. We do the Empowering Women series. Also, there is a slight difference in the empowerment between men and women. Women tend to be more on the nurturing side, more the uplifting side, affirmations, gratitude, things of that nature. And when we, myself and my co-host Jessica, likewise, when we came together, we realized that we both had a common bond, that we didn't really have that support when we were coming through, when we had decided that we wanted to make our changes. And we knew how that felt like as women who were trying to go to our next level, and we couldn't find that support system. So we came together and said, well, we're going to be that support system for women that don't have that. And that is why we're talking about women's empowerment. A lot of times women don't vocalize that they need that support, that they need that help. They'll just go through, they'll muddle around, they'll do their research, but they really won't reach out. And so if it's available, we have the resources. We definitely want to teach them how to work smarter, not harder, and move towards that greater level.
So what I understand, it's because of your own experience that there was no support when it was time for you to get empowered, that you decided to do that for other women.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You know, I was always in a male-dominated field, whether it be technology, doctorates, what have you. And there was a lot of resources for men, and the men knew exactly where they were, and the men told the men, you know, and then we just kind of had to muddle around, and if one of the men decided to share it with us, then that's how we got it, you know, in my cohort per se, or in my school. And so I said, you know what? We need to have a circle for women that is the same empowerment that the men are doing. And so that's where me and Jessica came together, and we decided to start the Empowering Women series.
This is interesting. Isn't it so? That men...
Yeah. I guess when we're reading your credits there, your accomplishments, you were in technology a lot. You were in what we would normally call male-dominated fields. And so I'm curious, Alkina, if you had to work especially hard to prove yourself in that context, working with so many men.
Oh, yes. Ever since I started working as a teenager, I was always with the men in the technology side, whether it was technology where it was back of the house, whatever. I was always the only girl. And when they would look at me, you know, I would be half their size and half their height. And they're like, oh, you can't do what we can do. And then I had to always prove myself. And, you know, after a while, you get savvy, you get strategic with this. You already know that, okay, you know what they see. You know what they're going to be thinking. So you already come in straight from the hip and say, look, this is what I have to offer. You know, let's do this. And you can learn how to meet them toe to toe. So yes, I totally agree with you, Mark. I had to prove myself multiple times. But at the end of the day, you know, that's where I learned how to empower women on that perspective, because a lot of times women feel defeated when men come at them like that. But I'm here to tell you that we do not have time to be defeated. We are just as smart and sometimes smarter. Yes, that's right, I said it. And, you know, we need to realize that as women and just go ahead and put it out there, right? You know, so we're with the women's empowerment, we're teaching women how to be strategic, how to go to that next level, and how to get to where they're trying to get through different methods and different strategies. That makes sense.
Yeah.
We have a comment here from Mel, and she said, well said, doctor.
Thank you, Mel.
I was thinking about asking her. We need very much feminine energy to change the world, you know. And what I heard is, as long as in the leading positions is only one woman, maybe, she cannot do it against all the men around. So we need that the women are 2 or 3 or 4, and then they empower each other to be you know, to trust into their own abilities and knowing if they do things a little bit different, this is not wrong. It's the right thing to do. And as long as you are in a pure male environment, you are discouraged in many ways. So I appreciate it very, very, very much that you are part of this empowerment movement. And this is also to say to Lawrence, who said, why empowerment of women? I think women have a special need for a special sort of empowerment, and men would have a special need for a different sort of empowerment. This is my idea. So,
oh,
yes, we do.
I totally agree. I totally agree. You know, women and men come from a different place in thinking most of the time. And a lot of times, now I do have a male mentor and I also have a female mentor. I use my male mentor to learn the male's perspective and learn my strategic solutions. I use my female mentor to learn the savviness, to learn the empathy, to learn the affection part of it, and then I merge the two together to become my ideal individual. Because while I do have the female aspect, of course, because that is me, I do have a technical mind, and sometimes I get along better with men because I'm boom, boom, boom. So having those two different mentors helps me work with women when I'm thinking in my technical mind, and the women help me work with men when I'm thinking in my feminine mind. That makes any sense.
So we have another comment from Aline Munch, and she is from Riyadh,
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, and she says, this is a classic story, Dr. Alkina Finch. So I think that we have some great participations here today. And I had a question for you, if I can sneak in with a question for myself here. And that is, when I was in grade 8, I wanted to learn woodworking, and there was woodworking in school, right? And then I realized when I came into the class, I was the only girl, you know? I was the only girl. And then the teacher battered me with, what are you doing here? You're a girl, right? And I felt like it was unfair, but I had the background. I know I could do it, so I was confident in a way. But it troubles me that the teacher was projecting some kind of male, girls not going to do this. So how could you advise somebody in that situation?
Okay, so I definitely feel the same way. I am basically the only girl now still in what I do. And you know what? You have to be confident in your abilities. They will try to make you, shake you, break you, but you have to know that you are coming with the same heat that they're coming with. And when they come, you have to come back with a sharper, quicker, tighter edge to you. You know, if they're coming one way, you have to be strategic and come from the back end and then let them know what's up. I mean, prime example, I was the only woman on my team of deans, and I was brand new. And, of course, it was my first quarter, and I was telling them all these innovative things, and they just blew me off. And then at the end of the quarter, when I was number 1 and I was brand new, I said, now do you want to listen to what I have to say?
Yeah, that's very cool. That's very cool. And we have a comment here from Aline again, and she says, I agree, Heidi Herrenlein. Women need to come together and learn to trust their different ways of knowing than men. That's a good comment. Thank you, Aline.
Yes.
Alkina and Aline is sort of similar, right?
Yes.
And in this case, when with me there as a little girl being in the woodworking class, because I had such a very great support from before, right? I knew what I could do, and there is some kind of artistic ability. So they chose, you know, you do the shelves or the thing, but I choose to do a sculpture, and then nobody else in the class did it. and it wasn't great, but I did it, and I think that the teacher gave me not the 5, which is the top grade, but he gave me a 4 grade because I was, of course, a girl. You couldn't give the girl the highest mark, right? But I think that I outshined all the boys in the class for sure. I mean, I felt that inside, and I had that confidence. And if somebody doesn't have this confidence from the beginning, that could be difficult. So, do you have something to say about that, about how to build really the confidence for a woman to be empowered?
Most definitely. I was a single child, and so I was usually alone. I didn't really have a lot of confidence at the beginning, but I did have dreams and aspirations. And but of course, I was always the only girl, and so I was not understanding why I was always being attacked just because I was a girl. And so eventually that got old. And I realized that I had every single qualification that the men had, and I just knew that I had to come with a different direction. So basically, when you're trying to get this confidence, first map it out. Map out what it is you want to do. Map out what you need to do to get it done. And then map out in your mind and change your mindset to say, okay, instead of maybe not be able to do it. No, every time you read those lines of things you want to do, I can do this. I will do this. I will do this. I will do this. You keep saying this to yourself. It's going to eventually penetrate into your mindset. And eventually it's going to go from maybe I can't do, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And eventually you will do this. And that's how you build your confidence. You got to start believing in yourself. You got to start believing in your abilities. And if you don't have one type of ability, you go and you capitalize on the ability that you do have to compensate for the other. But at the end of the day, you know that you are worthy, and you know that you can make it to the next level, and you make it happen. That's how you build that confidence, because you believe in yourself, because you know that you are the bomb.com, as I say.
Yeah.
Well, I was listening to you, and I'm saying, I could use that myself, I mean, what you were saying was not specifically for women only. This is very good general information. And there's all kinds of ways in which, in my history of working, both with men and with women, that I could have used that information. I much preferred working with women because I could express parts of myself that I just had no place in male society. In the hierarchy of the workplace, just all of the inside stuff just didn't enter. It just wasn't part of the game. So I know about hierarchies. I know about coming from underneath. I know about self-doubt. I know about, do I really want to be like them? And so much of what you are saying really is good for all of us to hear. Okay.
Yeah, but I think traditionally for women it's a new thing. I mean, in the introduction to this show today, I wrote about the women's liberation. It's past now 60 years or something. And before it was just a completely different situation for women altogether. Mm-hmm. And I think we are still not completely in this place of self-confidence, and we still have to work step by step to get our self-confidence out. And what I wanted to add to what you say, Alkina, is the best thing is not to start with big projects and then don't get it, and then you are disappointed and say, oh, I cannot do that, right. I'm too stupid or whatever, but right. Do little things to build up this confidence, and surround yourself with people who hold you up, who give you support. And what you are doing and what we are doing in our work, this is exactly what we do. We give the people the, how can you say, the support, the cradle in which they can develop their first steps and then go ahead like a baby, you know. It needs to be confident that the mother takes care of them, and so they can learn, and in a different level, but in some way it's the same thing. We women had to go out and see, how does it work? Can I really do that? For thousands of years they have told us that we can't. So we cannot think that in a few years we collectively in our subconscious we have this confidence, you know. And what you say, I think men often don't have it either, but they are so encouraged to just try it, and at the end they find out that they can. And women are more encouraged, don't try it, don't even begin, because you might fail. So.
You know, I want to add to that. I definitely want to add to that. You know, especially the women's live piece. My grandmother just recently passed. She was 87. We had a conversation about this. And, you know, she never thought that she was going to have a granddaughter that was a doctor. You know, she didn't, you know, it never crossed her mind that that would happen. And she came to me one day and she said, why do you have all these degrees and why are you always doing something? And I told her, I said, because, Granny, I don't want anybody to ever tell me that I don't have what I need to get where I'm trying to go. And that is where the division changed. She came from a time where you got in where you fit in, versus now we're going to get what we want to get. And that is where the shift is going. And you know, from her going to get what she needed to get whatever she got, I saw that. I saw my mother do the same thing. And because of that, that made me propel and say, I want to have what I need to have to be who I need to be. And that built my confidence to watch them do this. And it all starts from home, really. You know, we see women suppressed. We see women that are told no all the time. We see this. And we have to realize that we are past this, ladies. There's no more time for suppression. We can go out and start a podcast today. We could go out and start a business today. We could go out there and start a ministry today. Whatever it is you need to do to empower people, to inspire, to live in your purpose. No longer do you have to sit there and wish you coulda, shoulda, woulda, and live in a life of regret. You can go out there and do that right now. And that is the point of women's empowerment. We have been suppressed where men have not been suppressed. They have been, here's the money, go do what you got to do, go make it happen. We have not been able to do that. We've had a lot of doors slammed in our face, ladies. And that right now, we need to go ahead and go get that. Now the doors are opening, so step into the door. If the door tries to close, you put your foot in it and you open it back up. That is what we're doing right now in women's empowerment. I hope I didn't overstep. I'm sorry.
Wow. Wow. Really
wow, maybe a little.
So there is a problem here also, right? So then as a woman who stands up and challenge the system, you get a lot of slaps in the face and discouragement. So when you have these discouragements, let's say, how can you address that a little bit? Because it's like this is like if you have and you succeed, but then you don't get the rewards that you wanted, right?
Okay, prime example. I was telling my scopers, because I periscope all the time, by the way, and I was telling them yesterday, you know, all of those rejections, all of those heartaches, all of those depressions are just turning you into that pressing the coal to make that diamond that you're supposed to be. All of that is just pressing. It's pressing. It's turning that piece of coal that you used to be into the diamond that you are to become. And all of this is sharpening. The iron is just sharpening. It's cleansing. It's buffing you. It's polishing you. And then it's only going to make you stronger. If you are strategic with it, learn how to use the things that you are getting. Because guess what? All those rejections are lessons that you can flip around and change for your good. So that is the way you're supposed to look at it. You're not supposed to look at it as a negative. You are supposed to look at it as a stepping stone to get to your greater. Okay, that didn't work, so let me try to remix. This is how I'm going to remix that. This is where I'm going to do that. Okay, so they didn't appreciate me this time. I'm going to come this way so that they see where it's coming from. And guess what? You don't need people's appreciation. You don't need their validation, because your validation is enough, because you are confident beyond measure and you can do anything you want to do. So do not rely on other people's validations to move you to the next level. Use them as your stepping stool so you can keep going to the next level. Okay, you were a step, but guess what? I'm going higher. That's what I would say about that.
Great. You have the best answers.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah.
You are talking practically of a total change of the mindset.
Yes, ma'am.
Where women before were more in the victimized, we cannot, I cannot, and I should not. And now you say we have use the challenges and really turn around, use every challenge as a reinforcement to go ahead. And so what is important, and I think I heard you say that, to know where we go. Where do you want to go? Who and how do you want to be? Because if you don't know that, you sort of go in every place, but it will bring you back into the failure mindset. So, yeah.
You know, I always say women should join mastermind groups. They should join their, and not support groups, mastermind groups. They are different. Mastermind groups are where people come together with different ideas and enhance each other and take them to the next level. Whereas a support group is more like, oh, this is your problem. We all have the same problem. Let's mull over this together. No, we don't have time to mull. We have time to elevate and, you know, and innovate. That is what we're supposed to do. That's why I recommend a mastermind. And, you know, once we come together, women need camaraderie. They do. They need camaraderie. They do not need validation. They need camaraderie. I personally will always say that I do not believe that women need to be validated, because they are who they are. They are diamonds in their own right. What they do need is camaraderie. They need that support system. They need that like-minded center, as we say, that like-minded circle, so that they can produce more. They collaborate better. You know, collaborations build, collaborations happen, because there's a lot of stuff for more people. And if we collaborate together, we get out to more audience. So what? We can share the wealth. We need to share. We need to explore. We need to innovate. We need to elevate. That is what we need to be doing. And that is why I focus more on women, because women need that. You know, men will go out there and just do. You know, sometimes they're scared to ask for help. They are scared to ask for JV. If it's not money, then they don't really have time to collaborate. Women collaborate just for the simple fact of helping others. And that's why I am a servant leader by nature, by heart. I have to collaborate with others. I have to build community. I have to see people uplifted. That is just my nature. And, you know, a lot of times men don't have that point. And that's why I deal with women. But, you know, there are some men that do that, you know, like the Tony Robbins and the da-da-da-da-da. But this one, but, you know, this is more why I deal with women, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We have a comment.
Yeah, we have a comment here, and Rose Bat from Australia, she's coming to our show today, and this is amazing. She says, great perspective, Dr. Alkina, and yes, very empowerment. And we have another comment here. There came several.
Yeah, from Aline. I wanted to say about Aline that she is doing that. She has created a circle of women's empowerment, and there are women from all over the place, from Finland, I sometimes am here, and she is in Saudi Arabia, and people from America, I think also Australia, one person, and we meet about twice a month or something, and Aline is organizing that, so she's here in the audience.
I mean, if you could send me that information, I'll be happy to join.
Okay, we will. Aline, did you hear?
And so she says yes to self-validation and keeping the foot in the door to gain the skills you need to get where you want to go. Yay!
And here is Mark who wants to say something.
Yeah.
He's sitting like this.
From the other side of the fence here. And I recall conversations I had with friends, young women. We were young. I was young too, in the 70s, talking about this emerging women's liberation. And I said, oh my God, ladies, if you don't enter the workforce and change the nature of work, will have lost a huge opportunity to contribute to the world. And I still feel that same way, because I understood already in my time I was in my early 30s that men's work world was a cutthroat, everybody for themselves, no cooperation, just competition, climb, struggle. And I was hoping that, frankly, that women would save us from that fate, And your talk, of course, of the collaboration, of the working together, etc., is something men can only dream of doing. Yeah, that'd be nice, but that's not the way the world is. We need to work on that. Men need to work on that. That's what we can learn from women.
So that would mean that we need to be more women in the work space, and present or make it normal to have a different way of doing. What do you think?
Oh yes, I totally agree. That's what women bring to the forefront. We bring an innovation. We bring a different type of thinking. And a lot of times we're not heard because we're not saying what everybody else is saying. But that is the problem. You need to listen to what the other person who's on the outside is saying, because guess what? The original is not working. So it might be time to do the remix. And you're sitting here with the remix right there in your company. So why not explore it? Just a tidbit, just a taste. Something to think about.
Yeah, we have to have more people in the companies, female, women, with this mindset to work together inside of the company.
That's already true in the universities, however. There are more women than men. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry.
What's the next step here?
Yeah.
Wow. Honestly, the next step is for us to, start thinking in that different mindset, to start moving towards making a change in the world. If we are still held back by that minimalist, that we are not special, we're not unique type of mentality, that's where we want to stay. But many women are breaking out of that now. Many women are going to the next level. Many women have ideas, and they're sitting there sick and tired of doing it. I mean, even some of the baby boomers now are saying, look, I don't have any children at home. I don't have nothing to do. I'm retired. Why don't I go and do what I want to do? And I encourage each and every one of them to do so, because guess what? There is something for everyone out here in this world. All you have to do is go out and make it happen, because the sky is the limit, as I say, always. And so there's plenty of help. There's plenty of motivation out there. And if you believe in yourself, you can make it happen. There's so many internet businesses, they don't even have to leave their house. There's so many, there's so many coaching programs. There's so many teaching opportunities, so much training opportunities. You never know what's out there. You have your Periscopes, you have your Meerkats, you have Google Hangouts where you can get that information out there. There is no longer any excuse. So I believe right now that is the next step. Get the mission out there. Get it out there and make it plain and get it out to more people. That's where I think the next step will be.
Okay, we have a comment from Bill. Do you want to read that?
Yeah.
Hello,
Bill is saying, it's disappeared here. I can read it here. In general, I totally agree, Dr. Finch, regarding men and collaboration. Men have a tendency to be very possessive and protective over their stuff, like job security, used to be the excuse. Hopefully we are seeing this mentality shift among men. Yes, and I would add that we need help here, ladies. We teach us how. Don't leave us behind. Teach us how. Yeah, and let's go forward together.
I think we women have the natural way to collaborate. I see it so often. I saw it in the past when, for instance, I had many guests here. Sometimes I had even 80 people, and we cooked for them. And with a female friend, not all of the women do that, but with several female friends, we collaborated together. You know, we didn't even have to say, you do this, you do this, you do this. There was just a look, this is needed, and everybody went and did it. While with men,
what do you want me to do? I did it. What do you want next? Yeah.
There's not this ability to see what is needed for collaboration. They still need, I mean, I think I've never had this experience with a man. So seamlessly work together. You know, everybody knowing what they need to do in that moment. I have the experience that men need a plan.
Yeah. I can see how to do this. Get out of my way. Here. No, I can't be in the kitchen while you're in the kitchen. It just doesn't work. Sorry. No.
We have a comment from Aline. I seem to lost my lower third in the comment tracker all saying that. Can you put that comment up, Heidi?
Yeah, just a minute. I mean, not a minute. Oops. No.
I will invite you.
Yeah. This is a little bit tricky with my mouse. Here it is.
Yeah.
Oops. It's run away. I think now I have it.
Oh, okay.
It's backward, but it will come.
Yeah.
Thinking outside of the traditional box, family leadership can contribute to that different way of thinking. Exactly. That's what I think. But you know what? We need to go into leadership and not hide behind, I don't know, the screen, invisibility, you know, and we have to get the courage and go out, and even if it's not perfect, because as you said, Alkina, when we go in the men's world, we need to be 200% perfect. And so we think we must be perfect before we can move. And we have to change this mindset and go out. Also, we are not yet perfect. We know our stuff, you know, but perfection, what is it? Go out and do it. That would be my idea of it.
Yes, I believe definitely we're in a mindset now where it's time for action. You know, it's calling. It's calling. The people are calling. There's so many people out there waiting on your message, waiting on your movements. And if you have the solution, just go out there and do it. Start taking action. A lot of us plan until we planned out and still have not taken any action. So we need to start taking action, start moving lives, and start making some change. So I totally agree with you. Don't worry about the perfection, because at the end of the day, the movement is more respected than the planning and the perfection.
Yeah, and if the fear of perfection, of not being able to be perfect, hinders us, and for many, many years it has hindered me, really, to do anything. Not anything, but to go out and become visible, then, you know, we are sort of depriving the world of our gifts and of our potential to be an example for others or be a support for others and uplift and inspiration, as you are for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, a lot of times, like I said, I am an introvert, and I tend to evaluate things just out of nature. But once I realized that what I was doing was bigger than my comfort zone, I had to get out of myself and go out here and start putting the message out, because there were so many people that needed that message, that needed that encouragement, that needed that support. And I knew how it felt when I didn't get it. And so I knew that it was more important than me just sitting here being scared because I was an introvert and felt, oh, how they're going to receive me. You know what? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how they receive me. The point is that I'm doing my purpose and putting the message out there. And in the end, my audience will receive it one way or the other. That's where it goes, because I took the action and I lived in what I was supposed to do.
Absolutely, absolutely, and congratulations that you did it, and we in some way did it too, Margarita and me,
Yes,
and also him. He had the same thing with invisibility.
And Mark too. Yay, Mark.
And the good message is you don't need to say, I am too old, I cannot do it. No, every age, you can be 90 and go over. And by the way, when I think about 90, she is not yet 90, but in the high 80s, I think, Barbara Max Hubbard. And she says women are now here in this time of the world, not anymore so much for procreation, but for co-creation. Yeah. And I think it's exactly what we are talking here about. I mean, there are many women who choose not to have children. There are many women who choose to have children for not to need to go out, you know. And there are women who get it together in some way. But I think our ability, innate ability for care, shouldn't be confined anymore to the family, but should go out. Care for the world. We need the female care for the world to stop all this poisoning, to stop all the life-threatening things which are going on. And this is, women are asked to do that because men, for all these things, they don't really care. They want to try out what is possible.
Right. We have a comment from Bill Reed. Can you see that, Heidi? I can't get my comment tracker up.
Yeah, I have it here.
Yeah. Excellent point, Dr. Alkina. As soon as your passion takes over, nothing will stop you, he says.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Bill. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah. And this is for everybody. It's not only for women, it's only for men. Only the thing which we need now is not so much anymore going ahead and try to find out what is possible without seeing the consequences. Now we have to go out and try to find out what is possible by caring, taking care, and fostering life, I would say.
I think we are coming to the end of the show, and what is our takeaways? What would you say, Alina? Can you tell us to summarize what your takeaways are?
I do believe, I would say as a takeaway, you know, believe in yourself. Believe that you can do anything. Find like-minded people to be in your personal circle that are going to lift, elevate, and innovate you to become the next best thing. You know what you want to do and go get it. You know, research it, make it happen. But the point is to take the action. That's what I would say is a takeaway.
Thank you. How about you, Heidi?
My takeaway is that I'm completely inspired when I meet women who are doing this, who are spreading the message like you do, Alkina, and there are others out, and I'm really grateful. And that this is a sort of an idea of me, that we are combining our forces, even if we are not together and collaborating directly, but this energy which we are creating together will help humanity to go on.
Yeah.
And what about you, Mark?
I'm listening between the lines a bit today, understanding that women are moving ahead regardless of what we men do. And frankly, we need some help. Don't leave us behind. We can help you if we can catch up to you. Okay? Yeah.
All right. I think I was very, very inspired by this positive force. It's not like we're going to combat men. We are going to accept and be who we are and not push ourselves or beat ourselves down. And then in the end, men are helped by that too. I think that's very, very helpful. So, Alina, where can people contact you if you want to share your website or something like that?
And also the podcast. Mm-hmm.
Yes, the podcast is Changing Minds Online, and we do our show tonight, as a matter of fact. We're Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we're Changing Minds Online, and we broadcast through Blog Talk Radio, and you can also get the archives on changingmindsonline.com. You can also reach me on all Facebook channels. Everything is Dr. A.D. Finch, so Dr. A.D. Finch. So I would love to connect with each and every one of you and maybe even collaborate. Thank you, ladies, so much for having me today.
Yeah, and if you would kindly type in these links on the event page, Alina, if you can, and so that we can actually keep track of each of the links, because there's many, right? And Heidi.
Yeah, for the end, I wanted to say Alina is in the audience. Alkina is here with a K. And there's another comment of Aline, not Alina, of her. And she said, co-creating a field of evolution for the highest good of humanity. Exactly. And I also want just bring up from Ross, who has got up early in the morning in Australia to see our show. And she says to Bill, I choose to stay out of the kitchen when my partner is using his skills there. Actually, me too.
Yes, Bill had a fine comment there, too.
Let me see.
Yeah. He says, excellent point, Dr. Finch, regarding men and cloud. No, that's the wrong one.
Yeah, this one.
I have the same problem with the kitchen and my wife, Bill says. She has no problem. It's running away.
Yeah. I don't know. My mouse. Yeah. She has no problem.
Being in there with me, but I tend to get anxious because I move quickly with my plan of attack, and I don't want to run her over. I'm getting better though. Thanks, Bill. I understand that.
So we have still fun and relaxation today in our show, and as you know, many of you who are listening, and if you don't know it yet, we had a whole week last week of transmissions of fun and relaxation. If you want to participate, look up our fun challenge. Isn't it so, Margarita?
Yeah, and you can go to our hangoutonconnections.com as well, because there is a special page there, and if you want to have access to all the sessions, you just need to opt in there. It's free and it's fun, and I certainly recommend that anyone who's listening to this go and do that.
Yeah, and we will also continue a little bit there on this free membership site. We will offer free continuation with fun and relaxation. So come and see us there. Okay.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
And blessings.
Bye-bye.